research is about the role of women and women's representation in horror cinema in Mexican cinema history. I believe women play a very important role in horror cinema. They are the ones that support all the narrative and all the stories that we tell, and it's usually the women that move along the story, but the role of women in cinema is underrated. I'm really passionate about this because I believe that horror movies, more than just being an interest to me, it's a very wide and open field where we can explore certain topics that sometimes in other genres or other types of arts we can. And movies get to people very easily, and it's a very common activity to do, and it's like a very good way to visualize and just talk about these topics like gender studies and women's freedom and just the role of women in society in general. I believe that fear is one of the most important things that we can talk through horror, because horror movies and horror stories were just meant to scare people and to try to control them and to try to tell them how they should behave. So right now, horror is more about talking about the things that we are scared about reality. For example, how society and the government, just like all oppressive things that makes us follow a certain path. And I think in horror we can explore that fear also with some metaphors and some allegories that can describe some of these realities in a very poetic way. This 2023 film that is Huesera talks about women and the fear of maternity and all the situations that women have to live through this process of maternity and the things that they fear and how society makes them be mothers and just focus on that role, and how women want to explore other things besides just being a mother. So two of the most important things that I found out, the perception of relationships among women is changing a lot. At first, they were seen as something negative and something that men should be afraid of. But then past 2000s, more or less, it's all about sorority and making visible and giving the importance to these relationships between women. And the other thing is about witchcraft. In the first movies, there's a very European description and representation of witchcraft. And then as time progresses, also indigenous knowledge and just the presence of witchcraft in everyday life in Mexico is depicted in movies. At first, there was like not a lot of space for women, but now women have made that space for them. And that also means we're capable of seeing other perspectives and the perspective specifically of women and women of different and diverse places. So yes, I think there's been progress, but mostly because women have made that progress.